Okay, welcome to my cooking class. First things first, let's wash our hands. And shut our doors. Now we're ready to begin. Okay, we're going to be starting out with prep. In which case, for our chicken kung pao, we will be starting with our veggies. We're going to be doing lo mein as well, so we're going to prep both. Save one aside. We won't need the heart. Set that aside. We're going to cut this cabbage very, very thin. Of course, it helps when your knife is nice and sharp. Now these are a bit long, so we can go ahead and just cut them right in half, like that. Now, let's measure out 4 cups. This just happens to be 4 cups. Most are 2, but I was lucky enough to find this at my local dollar store. Mind you, all of these vegetables are already pre-washed. There's going to be some gaps, so if there's any overlap, just try and don't overdo it, but it's not that bad, pretty close. It's going to be hard to get an exact amount on a solid. And then we're going to go ahead and set the rest of this cabbage aside for a later time. Go ahead and set that aside for now. Now we are going to julienne our carrot. There we go. I have to wash my hands again. I pulled out the trash can. One moment. Alrighty. Now let's go ahead and julienne this carrot. So julienne is just a very thin slicing. If you've ever had sliced ham, that would be julienne ham. Or shoestring fries. It's also a julienne cut. should look like this. You can go thinner. In fact, I actually will on a couple of these. Just a little bit there. I better speed this up. Personally, I would like a mandolin or something of the sort to julienne a carrot, as it is a little bit tougher on my blade. Not enough to dull it, of course, but when your blade is sharp, it is both a tool and a danger. I myself do not want to lose any fingers today. Make those a little bit more manageable. They are going to decompress with the heat, but it's always better to just keep it going as it's going. Okay. We'll go ahead and get those ready to just pop in when we're done. And now we are prepped for lo mein. Now let's just prep our bell peppers for our kung pao. There we go. So cut out the stem, as it is not good for cooking. It adds a very bitter flavor to the bell pepper. So there we go. There we go. Try and clean out the seeds as best you can. And you can just press down flat. Slice it open. Take out the white, as that is part of the stem. Just adds a bitter flavor that you don't want to be getting from your bell pepper. You only want the peppery, slight peppery flavor, not spice necessarily, but enough taste. Right, that sounds good. That sounds good. Now for the red. This one peeled apart really easy. There we go. If you don't get all the seeds, it's all right. One or two won't hurt. Now we're just gonna go ahead and cut these. Into manageable this is almost bite-sized. They will shrink up a little bit as they soften, as they cook. But you want to be able to eat these with the chicken. There's the greens. Now, red. Get those just a little bit more. There we go. Go ahead and set these aside. There's our bell peppers. Let's go ahead and toss these out. Contaminated. Set these aside. And let's see, garlic and green onion. Where did I put those? Ah. Okay, our green onions. We got quite the bulbs on these. These, we're going to need 2 for the lo mein and 1 for the kung pao. Take off the spud there, then slice it as you would a normal onion. Then you just chop up the stem. These are already washed as well. This little guy is Mr. Ning's little secret for their kung pao, or beef and broccoli as well. They had a really good beef and broccoli. We're just going to combine that with our bell peppers real quick. It's all going in the same pot at the same time. Well, same wok at the same time. Oh yeah. Let's just go ahead and do these real quick as well. Ooh, those are strong peppers. Onions. Definitely gonna have to wear my. Whew. Definitely going to have to wash my hands again. I promise I'm not getting emotional right now. These are good onions, though. hotel real quick. Find my eyes. There we go. Okay. Here. These are going to go in with the lo mein. So we're going to try and get these into our cup here so that it's all ready to go. And then we just need seven cloves of garlic. And garlic. It's a bit tedious, but there are ways to speed the process up, in my humble opinion. Let's see, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And those are all pretty good sized cloves. So we'll set these aside for later on. Clean up all the shelling here from the outer layer. It's incredible how much of a flavorful food garlic is. Just adding a little bit to a meal can really change how you taste it. And just roasted garlic with some butter is enough to turn even the most ordinary bread into one of the most flavorful dishes you have ever tasted. Starting to wonder if I should have just peeled all the garlic before I started filming. Oh well, next time. At least you guys can't say that I cheat and have somebody else do it for me. I am 100% self-sufficient in my own kitchen. And this is less of a tutorial video and more of a how I do things video anyhow. I'm sure you guys are going to do it how I normally do it, so that way you don't have stage fright. Which is funny, because if somebody is actively learning from me, I can work just fine. But if I'm recording myself, not so much. I'll get better at it though. The moment we stop improving is the day we start to die. They don't have to be finely chopped. Just as fine as you want it. These ones are just a little bit big. The other ones aren't that much. So I can do 2 at a time here. And if you don't already know, when you are cutting, never cut with your hand like this. Always like this, so it will just glance off your nails if you do happen to get a little too close to your fingers. It reduces the chance of you nicking your finger by a significant amount. Something I wish I had known when I was cutting lemons when I was 16. Almost lost my thumb. It's another thing, try and tuck your thumb. You don't want a scar like me. Only time I ever cut my thumb though, or cut myself with a knife for that matter. And this is going to go in our Kung Pao section. Now to wash our knife and switch out our cutting board for a fresh one because we are going to be dealing with chicken. Now in a professional setting, you have a sink where you rinse, soak, and then sanitize, and then let air dry. Any utensil that's dirty, or any pot, pan, bowl, anything you use. Now, we're going to be doing 2 pounds of chicken. So just measure that out beforehand. Cut them into bite-sized pieces. Set them into a separate bowl. Make sure your chicken is fully defrosted if you got it out of the freezer or if you got it from the store fresh. Sometimes the frost likes to stay on there and it will not cook evenly. The last thing you want is one piece of chicken that's cooked uneven. Salmonella is a very real danger when it comes to any kind of poultry, particularly chickens. Oh yes, and we're using chicken thigh meat. You could probably get away with leg meat if it is cheaper. Today thighs were cheaper, as they're darker meat. Kung Pao doesn't really go great with chicken breast as it does tend to dry out a bit. But, I mean, to each their own. Personally, I would use darker meats. And there's our chicken, ready to go. We're just gonna go ahead and coat that with a half tablespoon of cornstarch. So there's a full, I'm just gonna do a half. Half tablespoon of cornstarch. Just mix it all together. There we go. And that's just going to help with the adhesion of the sauce. Right. We're done with our cutting board, and we are done with our chef's knife. So we'll go ahead and put those by the sink and get ready to go on our sauce.